So I'll just go ahead and read through them. If you guys have questions about any of them, you're welcome to ask those, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. The first condition is identifying the local management zone that's written in the ordinance. It's basically identifying the surrounding property owners. I believe it's within 1,000 feet of all bulk sampling activity. Number two, we'd like to see plans for the following: noise, dust, fumes, light, and visual impacts within the local management zone. Number three, compensation for local law enforcement or use of own security requirements that are beyond what is normal law enforcement activity. Number four, all work and restoration completed by April 30th, 2015. Number five, emergency planning for the following: spill plan, evacuation plan, explosion/fire, and security. Number six, requesting a list of techniques that will be used for bulk sampling. Any other techniques that are outside this list will require approval by the zoning committee. Number seven, no heavy equipment, broadcast lighting, or blasting between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. without permission from the zoning staff. Number eight, if blasting is required, notify the Sheriff's Department, Zoning Department, Emergency Management 48 hours in advance and meet all requirements of the Town of Anderson blasting ordinance. Number nine, adhere to specifications in the bulk sampling plan, including but not limited to the following. Number one, truck routes and weight limits, runoff protection, financial assurance for reclamation, testing and precautions regarding sulfide spoils or runoff to prevent sulfuric acid formation, compensation to including financial assurance to property owners in the local management zone, to the county and the Town of Anderson for measurable damages or other financial impacts caused by the activity. Such other restrictions as may be reasonable and necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of human health and the environment of health, safety, and welfare of the county and its residents, and subject to site safety rules and regulations under Wisconsin statutes and federal requirements. Consent to county personnel access to property containing the area of bulk sampling activity at reasonable hours without notice. Number 10, time extensions may be granted by the county. And 11, applicant must obtain all necessary state and federal permits. If there are any additions or subtractions to this list, the Town of Anderson requests that they be notified of that.
I have a question. How many permits are going to be required and from who? Like Army Corps of Engineers?
My understanding is right now, the only permit that's going to be required of them is their stormwater permit. And so that's through the bulk sampling plan. That's what the DNR has determined, that that's the permit that's required.
And then the bulk sampling, are they going to do blasting for that?
It's within it. They have it in the bulk sampling plan. As my understanding is that it isn't in there currently. They're not planning on doing any blasting. You are, Gerald, you are welcome. If you would like to ask the applicant a question, you're welcome to do that as well.
Do you really have a plan to? Are you planning on doing any blasting or?
The way the bulk sampling plan was put together was that the first approach is to gather the rock without blasting. We think there's twice as much rock as what we need, but in the event that there's not enough rock, we put blasting in there as a second alternative. But at that point, we also have to get a blasting ordinance from the Town of Anderson, which we have not approached yet. So it was intended as having an alternative in case something would happen, so we wouldn't have to start this long process over again.
That's basically an alternative then. And I have to say, I didn't know what bulk sampling was until I went on that tour of the site that you last Thursday. I thought, for all I knew, bulk sampling was you were trying to find out what was in the rocks, but it's for your milling equipment, what you need for that.
That's correct.
So I did learn something. I have one more question. The conditional use for bulk sampling, is that consistent with the Iron County Comprehensive Plan and the Town of Anderson Comprehensive Plan?
Yeah, the Town of Anderson and the Iron County Comprehensive Plan do recognize with the map within the plan as that area being a designated area of potential mining development in the future. So yes, it would meet those requirements.
I got a question. If this is approved, the sampling permit,
Yes.
They still have to get the permits through the state, stormwater,
They
have
still-
to be approved first, right?
Yes, they still have to get their stormwater permit before they would be able to actively start bulk sampling.
Stormwater permit's been applied for, how long ago was that?
We first applied for the bulk sampling plan was June 17.
How close are you to receive any word back yet?
Well, on the bulk sampling plan, we received a letter December 10th that said that they had completed their review of the application. They told us that we need to have a stormwater permit, that we need to have a cutting plan with DNR forestry, that we need to have, apply for an air permit exemption. So we've applied for the air exemption. It's almost ready to come out. I think it's in draft form. The DNR cutting plan has been issued, and the stormwater, we gave them a stormwater plan December 2nd, comments December 20th. I've got the comments addressed, and they're pretty close to being turned in now.
You said it was like a 6-week process to do bulk sampling.
Yeah.
6 weeks from now, I'm gonna push it in the middle of March. And myself being involved in logging for the past 20 years, middle of March is pretty much
We're very aware of the weather sensitivity right now.
okay.
Yes.
As far as this permit from the DNR, how far do you feel that you're away from that as far as timeframe? With your requirements that you've got to meet here, are you pretty much got it very well completed?
I think so. They still have to look at my comments, but I think we've addressed them. We've had a lot of verbal back and forth to talk about what they were looking for, how to answer their questions. So there's no surprises when I put it on the desk.
Any other questions? Any board members here?
I did download this from the Army Corps of Engineers, and I've seen them in action already too, and you want to make sure you have them satisfied with everything.
Army Corps of Engineers are brought in under the Clean Water Act if you impact wetlands or streams. And the way the plan is set up, we avoided the wetland areas, and we're not crossing any streams.
Okay, any other questions you guys got? So what do, as a board, what do you guys want to do now?
So if I heard right, the town of Anderson gave its approval pending these,
Yeah, the
conditions?
town of Anderson did approve this at their town board meeting, and the highlighted comments that are on your sheet there, the meeting the requirements of the town blasting plan, the town of Anderson being included in compensation, and that if there's any additions or subtractions to this, that they be notified. Those were the 3 conditions that they added. So, but they saw this same list.
saw this.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to do?
I would make a motion to go ahead with this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second that one.
Okay, and that's pursuant to the, what we have just discussed. And to that, before we get a second on that, we should have it that this is all going to go forward pending that the approval with the DNR for that. So that's would be my added input to that. So I got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I got
Hey,
a second.
Jim, just for clarification,
Yes.
The motion includes the conditions as proposed, correct? I just want to make sure that's
Yes.
clarified.
Yep.
Okay, yes. All right, got motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? Okay, the ayes have it.